What's good, everybody? It's your guy, No Narcissist. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you find that you like what it is I'm talking about today, please subscribe. Definitely leave your comments down below. And of course, as always, share the video. Okay, I'm jumping right into it. No Narcissist wants to talk with you about how to affect change in a narcissistic person's life, right? That allows you kind of a repositioning so that you are not continuously victimized anymore. Now, you're past the point where you realize that there's something going on with this narcissistic individual that, you can't call it yet narcissism, right? For sure. But like I said, that there's something going on. Okay. And it's likely that this person is a narcissist. All right. So what you want to do, as soon as you realize something's wrong, these arguments are continuous. They, every time you turn around, we're back at, the beginning. We're back at stage one again, right? The circular arguments, word salad that keeps you, going crazy. All of the gaslighting to make you think that there's something wrong with you, when really, there's nothing wrong with you. That is happening. It's occurring. It has occurred so frequently that that there's something wrong in this relationship. So step one, the first thing you've got to do, right, is you have to bring that narcissistic individual back to reality. Okay. Reality. Okay. The reality has pretty much left your relationship. The reality that you are a decent person, that you are worthy of respect, that you haven't done anything wrong, even vaguely, right, so wrong, so as to deserve the type of treatment that you've been getting from the narcissist. That reality, that's reality. You're a decent individual, right? You're a loving, caring individual, and you know this. So that's the first thing. And if you need to make that statement to the narcissistic person, by all means, make it. Say it, but only say it once. If you need to write it and give it to them, write it, but only write it once. You are shocking the narcissistic person into the realization that you are getting back to reality, not the fantasy world in which they've created, whereby you're this evil villain, whereby, you're less than they are, whereby you deserve to be trampled on emotionally, psychologically, in some cases physically, right? The very first thing you've got to do is to state very clearly, I am going back to reality. All right. Now, narcissistic person's going to respond. What are you talking about? Right. See, here you go with some, wild, delusional, right? You don't need to respond. You've allowed them to know a little bit. You've allowed them to get a glimpse of what the future holds in terms of your relationship with them. Okay. I am going back to reality at this point. At this point in our relationship, I don't see any need to move forward in this way. Therefore, I am going back to reality. All right. And the reality is always, never forget this. The reality is always that you are well. You are well. You are well. You are well. You need to say, I am well. I'm going back to reality because I am well. That's it. That start. Let me tell you something. Doing that makes such a profound impact on your relationship with that narcissistic person, right? It requires you to do some other things in order to follow up, obviously, but it really lays out the strategy, okay? Strategy for reclaiming yourself, for getting up and moving forward by moving back, right? You can do it. You have to do it. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do. Okay, now knowing where the narcissistic individuals or the toxic person's wounds are, right, allows you to kind of, cause a little bit of pain, right? And I'm gonna tell you, I am not one of those narcissistic survivors who, believes in, not giving back some of the medicine that you've gotten. I am not one of those people at all. Okay, you need to, at least to a certain extent, you need to let this person know you have fooled with the wrong person. Okay, you have stepped on the wrong toes. You have crushed the wrong heart. You have disrespected and denigrated the wrong person. And I'm not having it. I'm not having it without you getting back some of your nasty, horrible medicine. Okay, fair exchange is no robbery. Fair exchange is no robbery, right? You have done unto this other what you would have them do unto you. And so here it comes. Here it comes, buddy. Right? I'm coming for you. Okay. So first thing you want to do, and you've probably heard this if you've been in the community, right, of narcissistic survivors long enough, you've heard about gray rock, right? Gray rock. Okay, and gray rock is very important. You're still in the same space, or you have to communicate with them for whatever reason. You've got to keep your communication at a minimum. You've got to keep your communication at a minimum. 1 word, 2 word responses. That's it. And only about things that are especially pertinent and important. Okay? Only about things that are truly important. About things that aren't important, you can let them know, you know what? Let me think about that and get back to you. But you do not have to give a definitive answer. That's a part of gray rock. Let me think about that and get back to you. It's not important. It's really not important. It's probably an invitation to another argument or some other kind of drama, right? That you simply don't need. You've had enough. You've said, that's it. I'm drawing a line in the sand and I'm going back to reality. You don't need to continue moving forward to chaos and drama, right? So, gray rock. Implement gray rock into your life. That's the very first thing after you make your statement, your declaration, right? That you're going back to life. That's why I love that song so much. It's in my head now because I keep saying back to reality, right? But I think it's soul to soul, right? Back to life, back to reality. Yeah. Play that song today. And when you finish listening to this video, play that song today, right? And because let me tell you something, guys, music has been such an instrumental tool, right, in allowing me to not only get free, but to stay free and to strategize what tomorrow looks like for me. Music is so important and powerful. Back to life. That's the song for today. All right. So back to the video, though. Back to the topic at hand. Okay. So gray rock, right? Gray rock. All right. Going back to reality, I'm going to start this gray rock thing ASAP, right? With no delay. Okay. Next thing you've got to do is to cut off all access to everything and anything that provides kind of behind the scenes information about you. That is to say, bank accounts. That is to say, every social media presence. That is to say, your book of contacts, right, in your phone. Everything. Change every password. Every password must be changed. Okay. Change every password to everything. Everything must be changed immediately. Now, this is a very, very powerful move. You've told them I'm going back to reality. That means you're not going with me. So wherever I go forward from here, you're not going to be included. You're not going to be included. Okay? Now, what's the effect of that? Well, knowing the narcissist's wounds allows you to cause a little bit of pain to them, right? Narcissists all suffer from deep-seated feelings of abandonment. And so when people exclude them from things, right? And in this case here, they're being excluded for good cause, for solid good cause, right? But when people have excluded them from things over the years in their lives, right, they feel feelings of abandonment deeply. We can't begin to understand. What I've learned is we can't begin to understand just how deeply that feeling of abandonment is for a narcissistic, toxic individual, right? We simply can't. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And so when you exclude them from, accessing, like I said, your bank accounts, if you're in school, your online, your email accounts, any and everything has to be changed. You need to sit for a day or so, right? And make new passwords for everything and write them down, right? Make a new email account, right? With that, in which those passwords are now stored or saved or what have you, right? Or put it under, put it in a special file on a hard drive or laptop or whatever, and lock it, right? Put a lock on that file so that only you, from now on, no one else in the entire universe has access to your life in that way. And especially not the narcissistic person who has abused and taken advantage and will always do exactly that, right? A narcissist will steal access to your bank account. So what makes you think that if they have the information and now you've told them that you're going back to reality, what makes you think that they won't abuse that information? What makes you think that they won't steal money out of your bank account? They probably already have done it before anyway. That time or a couple of times when, money came up missing, or, there was a breach in access, to your bank account, right? It was them. Yeah. Look, I had a situation whereby my bank account was breached. I was with, my the person that I was going through it with, and my bank account was breached. And I was in another part of the country, right? And I'd just gotten a new bank card, right? Maybe, I don't know, if it was a week old, that was it. My bank card information was being used back home while I was in another part of the country. My bank, saw that the same information is accessing, the bank saw that my account is being accessed at the same time, right, from two different locations, right, and shut me down. I'm up a creek, right? It was a Sunday too. I'm up a creek. And so, had to go through all of that. Come to find out about a month or so in that my bank information had been given to a gentleman who had went to Walmart and got cash advances using my bank information, right? At the Walmart, took money out of my account while I'm out where I am shopping with the actual card. I actually had the card, but the information was shared with the gentleman. Shut my account down. I'm looking crazy. I'm with, my my predatory individual standing right next to me. I'm swiping the card and it's like, nope, sorry, decline. What? Wait, hold. I know how much money I got in the bank, right? And I can call the bank right now and verify. Like, what? What do you mean decline? And I'm spending, $20 or something like that. What do you mean declined? No. Swipe it again. Of course, you go through that whole thing. And they're standing right there looking at me like, oh my goodness. Like, what's going on? Oh, wow. That's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, this is crazy. This really is crazy. A month later or so, I find out that they had shared my information with this gentleman in order to help him get on his feet a little bit. He needed help. And my predatory person thought that it was a good idea to help this person using my money, using my funds straight out of my bank account. So you're going to stop all access to things of that nature. Cut everything, all sorts of emails, any account where you purchase things at, cut it all. Your Amazon, email, change it. PayPal, change it, right? All your credit cards, change every doggone password to any and everything right? Immediately, today, right now. Okay. That's the next step you're going to do. All right. And the next thing you're going to do is you are going to slowly but surely begin to isolate said narcissistic person. Yes, that's what you're going to do. You're going to isolate them from the thing that you can control. That is your life. Right? Now, this nail in the coffin, right? Now, I say coffin, it's kind of a double entendre there because I do perceive narcissistic individuals as very parasitic, as in vampire, right? Look, I'm just keeping it 100 with you. That's the way I see them. Okay, they always take more than they give. They always take more than they give. Always. So vampires they are, right? Their problem, not mine. Don't like it, change. So you're going to isolate them from your life in every way possible. What is that? Well, you've cut them out of access to all of your important accounts, right? You started to gray rock them, 1 word, 2 word responses to everything, right? You've told them that you're going back to reality. Isolation is going to look like you doing things by yourself, on your own, for yourself, and you're not ever going to ask the narcissist to accompany you. And when or if the narcissist does try to accompany you, you're going to tell them, nope, that's okay. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for offering your companionship. Thanks for offering your time, but I'm good. Thanks. And you go and you do whatever it is that you say you're going to go and do. Now, why do you want to do this? Well, because that's what they do to you. Okay. And the reason that they do it to you is because it works. It works. It works. It works. It works. Human beings are social creatures, even narcissistic human beings, right? There is some level of sociability, all right, in the worst that I've seen, and I've seen some horrible ones, right? Just wearing it on their sleeve, I'm a narcissist. I'm a narcissist. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. That's going to be the grandiose type, but there's still some desire. There's always some need. Why? Because they are validated externally. They're validated externally. Everything about them comes from the outside, right? And so therefore, if you isolate, you get them out of your sphere, right? Yeah, they start to feel that abandonment wound that has never ever healed from childhood, right? It starts to reopen. It starts to fester. Now, they're going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed. They're going to smear you. You've got to stay tough. You've got to stay strong. So what? You don't have to explain why you are protecting yourself in this way to nobody. You don't have to explain why you've chosen to protect yourself in this way to anybody, okay? But just know that you are protecting yourself. I've talked to a lot of people about this topic over the years, and one of the pieces of advice that I give them is to be the parent that you always wished you had, but now you've got to be that for yourself. And so for me, when it was time to get up and get out of that relationship, right? What I imagined was that my parent, one of them at least, would just come in, right? I'm sitting there, sulking and being, degraded and downed and disrespected and, whatever, right? And I'm just sitting there just absorbing it, just in a very, very low state. And at that point, my mother or father or both got wind of what was happening to me. And they just came in, swooped down and picked me up and took me out of that environment, right? Took me out of that environment. Took me someplace far away, right? And sat me down and said, you know what? You never have to go back there again. You're here now. You're safe with us, and we're going to protect you. We're going to protect you as you go back to reality, as you get back to life, right? And they put a, kind of a shield around me so that I truly, truly felt protected. I was protected, right? And I remained there, and they fed me in many ways, right? They took care of me, right? So that I never felt the desire to answer the narcissistic person's attempts at contacting me. The Hoovers, we know about those, right? And I stayed there until I was strong enough to come back out into the world again. But now I was reassured and reaffirmed of the true reality, which is I am well. I am always well, and I don't need anyone to validate me in that way, right? I got it where I was supposed to get it from, right? And so I've played that over and over in my mind, right? Even now, I do that. In my mind, I ice out the narcissistic individual. I ice them out. Boom. And I push them out. I don't put the parameters on my mind like this. That's not what I see in my mind's eye. What I see is my hands are like this, and I'm pushing them out. I'm expanding my world. I'm expanding the real world at the same time, but I'm pushing them out. I'm pushing them out. And I'm telling you guys, it works so well. I feel so warm inside. Even now that I'm explaining this to you, I feel so warm inside because I know that this works, right? And I'm taking care of myself in the way that I've always desired, right? I'm doing it though. I'm giving it to me. So, as always, thank you for your time. Remember to mind what you think, do, and say, and by every means necessary, make the day your most productive and narcissist-free day. All right? Please subscribe, like, comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Beware and be aware. Peace.